I guess I just want to start by saying I grew up in church, and I would have told you that I got saved as a little girl and got baptized, and but I don't remember any of it. And as my life went on, I stood on the fact that I said a sinner's prayer and tried to live my life for Christ, but it was all in my own efforts, and I did the things that I thought I should do. Don't drink, don't cuss, don't smoke, all those things. Being raised in the South, those were the big things, that we talked about in church. And we didn't talk about other sins, really. It was, stay out of everybody else's business and just live your life. And as long as you have said that prayer, you're pretty much good. And so as life went on, I didn't read my Bible at all. I mean, maybe every once in a while. I figured I knew the stories from church and Sunday school because I was raised in church, and so I really didn't have a desire to read. So God called us here to be missionaries, and I thought, it was definitely God who called us here, and His plan and His will and His timing, but there was still something not quite right within me, but I knew that this was the next steps for us, and thought it lined up biblically, yeah, that's something that I should do. I can say that I completely heard God on that. And before we moved here, we had gone on a couple mission trips, and I had seen God do things that I didn't really understand, not necessarily in my own life, but in other people's lives. And it challenged me, but Satan just had me covered with lies. And it was, well, you don't look like that because you're different and you're calm and you're quiet. You're not charismatic, so things like that aren't going to happen in your life. When we read things in the Bible that talk about miracles and prophecies, and well, that's just not going to be you because you're very calm and quiet. And so I took that, and that was okay with me. And you're not going to see victory over your struggles because that's just kind of who you are, and that's okay. That's a part of you. That's okay. And it was just lie after lie. But had I been in the Word, I would have known very differently that that's not truth. The Word, it cuts through bone and marrow, and that's not a joke. It says that because it does. It cuts through to your heart, and I didn't even read it to allow it to do that. So anyways, before we moved here, we had, like I said, we had gone on a few mission trips, and at some point in there, I remember saying, God, interfere with my life. Just interfere with it, because I don't know what I'm doing. And, I struggled from the time I said the sinner's prayer to recently with fear and doubt. And again, listening to Satan's lies, I'm good, that's who I am, I'm insecure, so those are going to be natural for me to have. So I continue to struggle with those things, but I started seeking God. And the Word says if you seek Him, you will find Him. And over the past few years, I have dove in head first. And God has just really done something new and fresh. But I know that I was not saved as a little girl. It was more recent, and I don't have a day, but I can tell you this. I don't fear death anymore, and I used to. I was one of those people that God would have looked right at in my eyes and said, I didn't know you. And I would have said, but Lord, I went across the ocean for you. I left my family for you. Doesn't that make me yours? And He would have looked at me and said, no, I never knew you. But I can tell you now, there's no more fear. And there's no more doubt. Because when you have an experience with the Holy Jesus, you can't forget it. I can't say that I was saved and then forget my salvation experience with the Lord. Who says that? But I did for years. And so now I know, and there's no doubt, and that's a beautiful thing. and my flesh is so weak, and I wanted to not have to tell anybody this story. But that's selfish. And God is alive, and he's at work. And I want to tell his story because it's not mine, it's his. And I just want to say that if you're not in the Word, or you tell me that, you read 5 minutes here or there, you need to get in your Word, in the Word, because it's what God has for you to help you grow and to cut through sin. And if you're not changing and you're not growing, then I venture to say, like my own life, you're being deceived. And I was deceived more than I could ever imagine. I would look at people and say, I love the Lord, and I truly believed it, but I didn't even know him. So for the past year to 6 months, I don't know, that's when I noticed the change, and just the confidence that I have in Christ. And he's just been prompting me to get baptized, because the first time it wasn't anything. And I have struggled with it because of what that would say about me. But it's not me, it's God. And he is saying to get baptized, and the only choice I have is to be obedient. That's the desire of my heart, is to be obedient in this. And so that's why I want to be baptized.